Hi, 7th grade. It's lesson 3, session 3. Let's get it done. All right, we're still talking about proportional relationships, okay, and the constant of proportionalities. Number 1 says, how do you know that the table and the equation represent the exact same proportional relationship between x and y? Well, this is kind of fun. What we get to do is we get to plug and we get to chug. So for example, for every time we have an x in this column, we're going to put it over here in this equation. And every time we have a y in this column, we're going to put it in the y at this equation, okay? Well, we're going to see if it equals y. So let's give it a try. I'm going to start with number 1, not 0, because 0 would be silly. If I put 1 in for x, will I get 1/3? So let's try it. We have 1/3 times 1. That equals 1/3. Okay, so this one checks out. Let's try the next one. If I put a 2 in for x and times it by 1/3. Remember, 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So now when I multiply fractions, I just go straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 2/3. Hey, it checks out. Okay, how about 1? If I put 1/3 times 1, will I get... Oh, sorry, I've read this wrong. 3. Sorry. We're right here. If I put a 3 in for x, 1/3 times 3. That equals 3 over 3, which equals 1. Hey, that one checks out too. I'm going to assume the rest check out. So, are these proportional? Yes. How do you know? Because every time I plugged in x to this equation, I got y. Okay, so that's how I know. Every time I plugged in x to the equation, I got y. Okay, number 2. Samuel says that his sister's age is proportional to his brother's age. Is Samuel correct? Well, if it's proportional, I can ask myself, how did I get from here to here? Well, that looks like I times it by 2. Now, if this is a proportional relationship, I can times these all by 2. And it doesn't look like that's the case, because 10 times 2 is not 15. So let me erase those. Maybe, looks like what they did from here to here is they went up by 5. So plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. This even is a plus 5. Now that's all great and all, but is that a constant of proportionality? No. Because a constant of proportionality does not say you can add. A constant of proportionality says you have to multiply. So, no, they are not proportional. For it to be proportional, you have to multiply. Okay, adding doesn't work. It's gotta be a multiplication problem. Number 3. Explain what the circled ratio on this double number line means. Well, what do you guys think? I mean, that's a unit rate, right? What is that unit rate saying? It's saying for every 1 minute you read, you can read 1.5 pages. That's what it means. I don't think you really need to explain it using words if you show me this. Because if you show me this, aren't you saying for 1 minute you can read 1.5 pages? Perfect. Okay, number 4. Hey, Lucy makes braided keychains out of cotton cord. For every 8 feet of cotton cord, she can make 3 braided keychains. Okay. So, with that in mind, we need to make a model to represent the relationship between the feet and the cotton. A model is like a chart, okay? So I'm going to say cotton cord, and then I'm going to say keychain. Okay, so we do know something. We know that she can do 8 feet of cotton cord to make 3 keychains. Okay, now I don't know what the unit rate is though. What's the unit rate? So I know it's 8 feet to every 3 chains, keychains. How do I find a unit rate with this? Well, could I divide and get a unit rate so I can have 1 keychain? If I divide this by 3 and divide this by 3, I would get 1 and 8/3. What's 8/3 as a mixed number? How many times can 3 go into 8? 3 can go into 8 2 times with 2 left over. What that means is 2 times 3 is 6. 2 more would be 8. Okay, well that helps. I just found another one. How did I find that one again? Because I found the unit rate based on the ratio that they gave me. So now that I know the unit rate, can I now go find how much cord it takes for 2 keychains? Well, sure. What I can do is I can say 2 2/3 multiplied by the number of keychains is how you'd find how much cord you would need. So 2 2/3 times 1 is that. Or 1 times 2 2/3. 2 times 2 2/3. 2 times 2 2/3 is 5 1/3. Okay. How can I use that model to explain how to find the number of feet of cotton cord Lucy needs to make 5 keychains? Okay, so I know it's going to be number of keychain. Sorry guys, I write things so fast on here that sometimes I skip a letter. Number of keychains multiplied by 2 2/3, that was our unit rate that we found, will equal how much cord. Okay, so if I said, okay, how about 5 keychains? I'm going to plug that in for that. I would just take 5 times 2 2/3. Okay? Let's go ahead and do it. How do I take 5 times 2 2/3? Well, I have to make this 2 2/3 into a improper fraction. So I times plus. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So it's actually 8/3 times 5, and I'm going to put 5 over 1. 8 times 5 is 40, divided by 3. Okay, so I'm just going to make this easy and say 40 divided by 3. Cord. Feet. Okay, number 5. In a baking recipe, there is a proportional relationship between the number of cups to flour to the number of cups of sugar. What does that mean? Tell at least 2 things you know that are true about this relationship. So what that means is that if they're proportional, that means no matter how many cups of flour I'm doing, I'll always know how much sugar to give. Okay? So a possible answer could be, you will always know how much flour I'm going to actually say sugar, not flour, and the reason why is because they say flour to sugar. You will actually know how much sugar you will need if you know how much flour you need. Okay? Remember, constant proportionality means I can multiply my sugar by the constant of proportionality, and I'll be able to get my flour every single time as well. Okay? Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and end there, and I need you to scan this page, page 58, and this is the page I would like you to upload to your homework. Alright guys, looks like this is the end of the lessons. Lesson 3 is done, which means we have a quiz coming up. So we will spend the day going over what we just did in this lesson and reviewing for the quiz. Alright, bye guys.